The internet is absolutely littered with confusing information on seed oils. And yeah, I mean, here's another seed oil video. Just look at all this. My most dated video ever. We've got doctors, two different doctors, basically making the same exact video. Um, yeah, here's Dr. Berg, worst ingredient in the world, in Norton. I mean, he's got some references here: sat, fat, inflammation. I'm actually going to take a look at these because I'm getting sick and tired of this. And thank you, Ryan Reynolds. So this man is screaming.
We have what will undoubtedly be the most
Hated
video in the
video.
history of my videos, and that is about seed
Oh,
oil.
sorry, guys. First and foremost, before we even do this video, I want to mention two different things that I think are really important that I haven't heard in any of these other videos. You know, as a healthcare provider, I am extremely concerned about people's health and my own health. I want to age well and feel good as I get older. I actually feel a lot better than I did when I was in my 20s. And this is a topic I'm actually very passionate about and know very well. I mean, at this point, I've listened to probably hundreds of hours of information on nutrition from a variety of different locations and sources. And again, I'm going to actually get into some of the research papers. Anyway, getting back to I want to make 2 points before in the beginning of this video. So this is to Dr. Lane Norton. So I know he's screaming about randomized controlled trials, but the point, I don't know if he knows this, but it's very hard to do randomized controlled trials on certain subjects, and one of them for certain is food, because it's very hard. You can't blind somebody very easily to the food that they're getting. I mean, even if you put blinders on, if you put olive oil in somebody's mouth, they're not going to be blind. Like, I know what olive oil tastes like. I know what shitty olive oil tastes like. I've never done a blind taste test, though. Shout out Hell's Kitchen. But the point, boy, I keep getting derailing myself here with extra ideas. But the point number one, Dr. Lane, is you don't need randomized controlled trials to sometimes know almost certainly if something is good or bad. So you don't need a randomized controlled trial to know, for instance, that when it comes to your health, most of the time you have to do what your ancestors did. And our ancestors were not eating highly processed seed oils. We were also eating a lot more fish in the past. We don't really do that anymore because McDonald's is down the street. It's actually really hard to get fresh fish. I mean, I personally had mine, I order special brands. Like you really have to go digging into the bowels of the internet in order to find quality, reputable sources, right? But you don't need RCTs to know like what's best for you. I mean, Dr. Norton, do you need a randomized controlled trial to know that alcohol is bad for you? I mean, you could just test it, right? You can drink regularly and notice the change in how you feel and the after effects when you don't drink versus when you're drinking. Or, I mean, take any number of examples, like eating McDonald's. If you eat McDonald's every day and then you eat a Whole Foods diet every day, do you need a randomized controlled trial to notice the difference in how you feel? And also, was McDonald's a thing that our ancestors ate? No. Were our ancestors up all night, all hours of the night, like hunting and gathering? No. Well, no, Dr. Lane. So I don't need a randomized controlled trial to know approximately what my ancestors were doing and what I was evolved to do. So, in mental health and in physical health, a lot of the time, what we're supposed to be doing and what makes you the healthiest is what our ancestors did. So, point number 2 is test this yourself, man. Like, go have seed oils. And I know everybody's different. I know without a shadow of a doubt, because I've tested time and time again, when I eat foods with seed oils in them of whatever kind, I feel like garbage. When I don't eat those seed oils and I literally like keep everything else the same, I feel fine. I've tested this so many times. I actually am trying not to eat fried food all the time now. I don't turn this off. So I'm trying not to eat fried food all the time. Honestly, again, a lot of the fried food is being cooked in a vegetable oil of some kind. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, Dr. Lane, Norton, I should say, without a shadow of a doubt, I feel like garbage when I have certain fried foods. One of my friends loves to eat katsu all the time. What is that? That's fried chicken. What is the kitchen using? I mean, I'm gonna ask. Dr. Norton, every time I go to the same restaurant, the food it tastes so good, but I ask them what oil are they using to cook the food, dude? And you know what they told me, bro? You know what they told me? They're using a highly processed mixed seed oil. And every time I go there, me and my friends we feel lethargic and tired. Okay? So your most hated video ever, yeah, I don't really like your video, and the reason is because you're sitting here screaming about RCTs, and it's like, bro, you don't need that. Go test it. Go test a Whole Foods non-seed oil diet versus seed oil ingestion every day, and then tell me you feel good, dude.
Responsibility. So seed oils. That's it. Got to be seed oils. Can't be saturated fat because carnivores, they love their fatty meat. So God forbid it be saturated fat. So when you
Good God, Dr. Norton. Seriously? It has a lot more... I don't think you've listened to anyone ever talk about this subject. This is actually kind of laughable. It has nothing to do with carnivores liking their meat, bro. It has to do with the fact that for most of human history, we've been consuming animal products, bro. Come on, man. You gotta use your noggin a little bit more than this. We've been eating animal for a long time. It has nothing to do with carnivores liking meat.
at the arguments against seed oils. And we're talking about mostly omega-6s in terms of the fatty acids like linoleic acid. What you see is that in epidemiology, the consumption of high amounts of these oils is associated with some negative health effects. When we talk about seed oils, it's a broad category, but essentially
And now,
mostly polyunsaturated. What's up, guys? We're back.
Oh, what did I do?
Guys? We are back.
What's up, guys?
It be saturated fat of high amounts of these oils is associated with some negative health effects.
Okay, now you're admitting, now you're conceding that that we know about negative health effects. And we've got an epidemic of health problems in this country, dude.
Talk about seed oils. It's a broad category in mechanistic studies in animals. When they give high amounts of these and subject them to oxidation, because since it has a double bond, since these unsaturated fats have double bonds, they can be oxidized. We can see some negative effects on a cellular level. We can see negative effects in animals when they get of them. And so they've kind of taken this together and said, okay, seed oils are toxic. And then they do a bunch of big scaremongering about how these things are produced.
Dr. Lane, please, can you eat seed oils every day and then tell me how you feel? Can I cook you? Can I give you seed oils for a week and cook with them for you, and then you can tell me how you feel? Please give me a personal anecdote, dude.
any of that. What I care about is what do the human randomized control trials say?
Fail, dude. Fail. 3 minutes in and we can just stop. I honestly, I listened to your video in its entirety, but you're going to scream. I think you screamed 3 times about RCTs in here.
Because oils are the human randomized control trials. Human randomized control trials.
Dr. Norton, how easy, have you ever looked into what it takes to create a randomized control trial? And then do you know how hard it is to control for confounders and control to take out factors that will screw up your data? No, you're just gonna make a Hobbit. You're just gonna make a Hobbit reference and go way off the deep end here. Oh. So I haven't fact-checked Dr. Berg in his entirety. He's a doctor, by the way. You can read his disclosure. He's a doctor of chiropractic, which is, I mean, that's fine. He's still a teacher and still clearly passionate about health. I mean, 13 million subscribers. He's been grinding for a long time. I generally like Dr. Berg. I mean, he puts out fantastic videos. One of his videos talks about the 10, 11 habits that damage your brain. So Dr. Berg generally, I think, is on point. I mean, I love his... So look at this video. Yeah, exposure to bad news, 1,000%. I noticed that I started having chronic intrusive thoughts about gun violence when I was looking at shootings on like Reddit or looking at police violence in the news. So, I mean, it affected my psyche when I was, when I was listening to this. And I've also seen some of my poor family members are just sucking down mainstream news garbage. And I mean, it's horrible. Like, I feel like it definitely rots your brain and is not good. But here, I mean, just look at this guy. Like, just look and see. I mean, what does this guy look like? Doesn't know what he's talking about. He spent his life studying. He says in the beginning here, he spent 30 years studying health.
Been doing for the last about 13 years.
13 years, sorry.
Investigating seed oil, the industrial seed oils and their connection to overweight.
Do these guys look like they're confused?
Chronic disease.
Looks like do they have a...
And this is what you just mentioned. I'm so glad you brought this up first. I'm looking here because I'm going to try to give you the exact data on this to answer this question. Health is so in 1922.
So look at this chart. Look at the chart here. Sometimes it's hard to, I mean, there's a lot going on here, right? So obesity is in red, vegetable oil consumption in kilocalories kilocalories per capita, which is head, per day. So this is the average food consumption. This is from the USDA ERS, Economic Research Group. Yeah, I mean, whenever you're dealing with numbers like this, I mean, I wonder how they obtain you. Like, this is my problem with Dr. Norton. He didn't spend an ounce of his brain power like thinking. He's just like, we don't have RCTs, dude. There actually are. Dr. Norton, I can show you 20 doctors who come up with pretty good data. Like, he doesn't. I don't think he even goes into any data in his video that I remember. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's go back. We'll go back and review some of his papers. But look at this. I mean, sugar had basically stayed the same. It's really been the same for 60, 70 years. Vegetable oils go from basically 100 to 500 kilocalories per capita per day, and obesity. I mean, again, this is a correlation. This is not this does not prove causation, but if you're going to look at flat rates, I mean, this is pretty convincing, right? But there's a lot more.
At 419.86.
So here, this guy is basically explaining, look, this is interesting.
Oil comes from the fruit of the olive tree, not the seeds. Olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, has mostly a type of fat called monounsaturated fats. Some seed oils like canola oil also have a lot of unsaturated fats, but in general, we need massive. Is these fears justified, or is this used for industrial?
So guys,
that's right. These oils were made for things like machine lubrication, making candles, and even producing soap. It wasn't until bizarre, doesn't it? Really started to heat up, and therefore increase the risk of fats, which were considered better for heart health compared.
Yeah, I mean, again, like my favorite thing to do with clients in general, and when I'm educating people, is like, does this look natural? Does this look like something that our ancestors did? Humans eating seed oils since the 1900s. Okay, look at this. Since the 1900s. Okay, how long have humans eaten meat? 2 millions of years. Millions, Dr. Norton, you medical nonsense doctor. 2.6 million years. How long have humans eaten eggs? 6 million years, Dr. Lane. You do not need RCTs, dude. How long have humans slept at night? Throughout history, 77,000 years, Dr. Lane. You genius. What do you think is going wrong? How long have humans ate processed food? Oh shit. Agriculture began, but what kind of? So the question is, cook the food. I mean, this is talking about cooking. So they're referring to processed. Yeah, in terms of processed cooking. Processed, I mean, I did seed oils. We did meat. Like how long have humans been? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cut this. Yeah.
Compared to saturated fats. Suddenly, seed oils were everywhere. People swapped butter for margarine, which was made from seed oils, and seed oils were.
Yeah, by the 60s. Rather recently. How long have humans been evolving? 6 million years, dude. So does it make sense to do something that has been done for 50 years or something that has been done for 2 million years, Dr. Norton? You genius. You shall not pass!
From salad dressings to snacks, like chips and cookies. Never before. A lot more chips.
Does this look natural? Does this look like what we were doing?
We were consuming fats.
I not understood until recently. Is that certain things cause inflammation, which is hard to detect. I mean, look at these. About these. EPA, by the way, comes from fish. There's salmon. DHA is also a subpart of salmon. I actually have been taking more fish oil daily to see if I can reduce my some of my cholesterol numbers. But I don't. I also need to eat more fiber, which I'll probably make another video on this. But pro-inflammatory eicosanoids, prostaglandins, leukotrienes, and thromboxanes. These are all inflammatory proteins in the body. And this is the major theory that, again, I mean, Dr. Stanfeild isn't really just showing anything new, but I really wanted to look at his data here. The papers are in the links. So this is a randomized controlled trial, Dr. Norton. Replacing saturated fatty acids with polyunsaturated vegetable oils has cardiometabolic benefits, but the effects of liver fat are unknown. Okay, so randomly assigned obese subjects with type 2 diabetes, only 15%, to a weak isocaloric diet high in vegetable oil. So isocaloric meaning the two diets had the same amount of calories. This is calories, guys. Calories are mostly irrelevant. What you really want to pay attention to is the kind of calories you're getting. Like, is it from trans fats or polyunsaturated fats? Liver fat was assessed by MRI. Oh, a hepatic LDL receptor regulator. So no, it actually has to do with the manufacturing of LDL. Like the other problem with Dr. Dingus Norton is you can cherry pick data. You can't just take one study or look at a handful of studies. Like, data can be manipulated and you can look for the results that you want. So in that one paper, it's a randomized controlled trial and certain markers improved. But again, like, you have to dig into the actual paper to see if they were correct. And then of course, it's hard to even know if they were honest with what they were doing. Like, I mean, peer review, I mean, even if you have you can have friends that are peers and be like, oh yeah, we know you. It's all good. Right? And sign off. Like, that, guys, RCTs aren't even that valuable. One RCT. And of course, my boy, oh shoot, I gotta stop my music. So my boy, Dr. Ekberg, definitely knows what he's talking about. He did a just in terms of length, look at this, 35-minute video explaining the best cooking oils. And he gets really in depth. So let's take a look. We've got red, green, and yellow bars, right? So oh god, dude. Also, so do not buy Factor. Yep, guys. 2 months ago, we don't even need 2 months ago. So large amount of processed ingredients, chemical additives and preservatives, highly processed ingredients, maltodextrin. I mean, the list is so long with these ingredients that you can barely, I mean, just where's the label? Here we go. Okay, guys. You're telling me this is not preservatives? Ingredients. Modified food starch, palm oil blend, salt, disodium phosphate, citric acid, xanthan gum, calcium phosphate, garlic, olive, pomace oil, I don't know what the hell that is, shredded Parmesan cheese, powdered cellulose to prevent caking, natamycin, onions, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, unsalted butter, granulated garlic, granulated onion, parsley, sea salt. Okay, so that's fine. But the list of ingredients is disodium phosphate. Guys, this is a preservative. Palm oil blend, modified food starch. Does that sound like it's natural? Xanthan gum. This is garbage. So the smoke point is actually really important. Look, flaxseed smokes. Once you're smoking something, guys, I mean, come on, this is why cigarettes is bad, right? Cigarettes are bad because you're smoking. You're ingesting chemicals that are on fire. You're literally ingesting fire into your lungs, burning your lungs. Is cigarettes natural? How long have cigarettes been? A long time. Thousands of years. I guess my theory falls apart because people have been smoking for so long. Tobacco has been smoked for years. So I guess I'm an idiot. I guess I'm a really, really stupid guy. Christopher Columbus was the first human to discover smoking. Thank you, Christopher Columbus. The other really important point I wanted to bring up is that when I was in Europe, I was recently in Europe. You can please go watch my other videos and travel with me a little bit, because especially if you've never been there, I mean, it's just, not only is it gorgeous, but the thing that stands out to me is I ate so much food in so many different places and I didn't feel like garbage. Like, I feel like garbage a lot of times when I eat out here. And I mean, it's no wonder. Like but I was really fascinated to see that the European Union has not banned vegetable oils. They banned some of it, some of them, like brominated. So that's, chemically another chemical alteration. Bromine. I mean, you can get into the chemistry, but what I care about is what is the applicable level, right? It's like we can go into the H's and C's and all that, but soy and palm oil derivatives, the EU is limiting so by the way, European Union refers to every country in Europe, or most of the countries in Europe. So they have banned a lot of seed oils because of their contents and the health effects that they have. So of course here in the States, our non-dairy creamer. My biggest that you find this Little Debbie Swiss rolls are banned because they carry food dyes. Non-dairy creamer. So what I want to know is, what do French people use to cook? Yep, look at this. Okay, I don't trust them. I'm gonna go with what the AI. I mean, you just really get lost in the sticks here. Find olive oil in it, butter and lard. Anyway, let's go back to the science. Also, by the way, you can tell when something smokes from heat. So if you heat it enough, you will see smoke coming out of the pan. And you know what? I've never smelled. I generally use olive oil. I use the olive oil from coffee. So this is a prodotti di Italia. Look at it. Look at here. Prodotti certificato di prodotti rentaccia del. Oh, I can't really read it. It's too blurry. Product certification. Yeah, this is what I get. Kirkland Signature, 100% extra foreign honor. Prodotti di Italia. Okay, look at where's the ingredients? So, where's the ingredients list in this? See, it's so simple. They don't even have it on here. I mean, maybe I'm getting fooled, but this actually tastes like olives. Anyway, this was the guy that Dr. Bird had on. Look at an absolute explosion of seed oils. Vegetable oil. That's Dr. Nobi when he's a young man. His hair's still brown. That's the same guy on Dr. Berg. Yeah, this is exactly my point and frustration with so many of these doctors online. Is like, dude, like, do an experiment where you don't need to harp on randomized controlled trials or meta-analyses, man. Like, do a diet where you're eating seed oils all the time and then stop eating them. You don't cherry pick. Like, whenever you do a video on this, you're just cherry picking. Like, this is why this video needs to be at least 30 minutes long if you're a doctor making a video about this, because you can cherry pick a few examples in any science and say, oh, in this case it didn't do anything. Oh, in that case it didn't do anything. But look at how many examples we have. I mean, my own personal experience is every time I eat a seed oil, I feel like trash. So, the end point is essentially it interferes with basic biological processes that happen at the cellular level, and that's what I feel like whenever I have any sort of processed seed oil, really.
Eating croissants. Even Dr. Cate Shanahan, nutritionist for the LA Lakers, removed vegetable oils from their diet plan.
And aren't they like the 10 times world champions?
As mentioned, vegetable oil consumption happens to correlate with diabetes and obesity. But again, we can't get too excited. This is just a correlation. Next, it's well known that...
What was the omega-6 fat in anybody's adipose who was on an ancestral diet?
That's a hard question to
Dr.
answer.
Kenobi discovered these specific
What were
who were eating a diet unadulterated by
Again, what were our ancestors doing, Dr. Norton? Dr. Crackpot. Oh, I deleted his, yeah, Dr. Brad Stanfeild. Jesus Christ, this guy's selling supplements. Okay, psyllium husk is great, but like, yeah, a lot of these doctors are actually trying to sell you a product. Dr. Brad Stanfeild, I'm not buying your vegetable oil product, you clown.
Vegetable oils, the concentration of polyunsaturated linoleic acid in their bodies was only 3.8%, 5 times less than what people are getting today. So,
whenever you eat something, especially an oil, all of the cells in the body have fats. And fats, whenever you eat a fat, part of it absorbs into tissues all over your body. Because a lot of substances, like a lot of psychotropic medicines, they're lipophilic. In order to get into the brain, they have to dissolve into fat. And whenever you're eating fats, and other, it's obviously not just fats, but a lot of products, they have to get into the cells and they have to get into your fat. Otherwise, they have to be lipophilic. Otherwise, not everything is in the body is lipophilic because there's barriers. But the point is these oils, they dissolve into your fat tissue and they stay there for a long time.
Animals that have cells that oxidize easily don't live too long.
Man, look at this. This is about the time, British Medical Journal, this was about the time seed oils were exploding. Oh, okay, so they're actually confirming. Here's another group of researchers that are actually confirming that seed oils or vegetable oils do not, overestimation of the benefits of replacing saturated fat with vegetable oils. There was a 22% higher risk of death for each 30 milligram reduction in serum cholesterol in covariate-adjusted Cox regression models. There's no evidence of benefit in the intervention group of the coronary atherosclerosis or myocardial infarcts, which is, if you don't know this at this point, maybe I should have explained this a little bit earlier, but coronary atherosclerosis is hardening of the arteries around the heart. And then, of course, myocardial infarct is MI is a heart attack, meaning the blockages essentially lead to the deprivation of blood flow, and that damages the heart to the point where it can't. There it is. So thank you, Dr. Brad Stanfeild, for finally getting to the point that is important, because when you go eat at a restaurant, if you're eating food out, they are heating these oils. They're using them to cook almost everywhere. And I know because I've tested it. Again, I've gone days without eating. Thank God I work from home. I cook for myself all the time. I use extra virgin olive oil and grass-fed butter myself. I feel fantastic when I eat at home. When I go out to eat, my friends literally ask me out to eat almost every night. When I go out to eat, I know I asked restaurants what I'm going to start asking all the restaurants what they're using. And I already did this past weekend. One of my favorite places, they're using the front desk woman went to the back. I asked her, do you have any idea what they're cooking with? Of course, she had no idea. So she went and asked. She told me the name of it. I think I still have the page up here. Versa Pan and Grill Oil. Take a guess. Take a wild guess what this is. Versa Premier High Heat Cooking and Baking Spray is canola-based spray for pans and grills. It is suitable for high heat and cooking and low in saturated fat and soy allergens. Guys, does that sound like... Oh, this is nonsense. What oil did we cook with in this? Oh, by the way, this was a literature review. So, I mean, it's not high tier evidence, but it still again offers oils causes them to change and create toxic waste.
Should be avoided. and to explore the concerns about
in regularly consuming these oils that they build up toxic waste products in the blood, and they affect the mitochondria, which are this literally, you don't live without mitochondria. We're not alive. It's, you know, if your mitochondria are screwed up, it causes all sorts of problems, right? Oxidative stress, lipoprotein oxidation, cellular adhesion, coronary artery disease. Yep. So all of these are inflammatory markers that can be tested for. This is interleukin. Not sure.
drizzling fresh seed oils over a homemade salad.
Bro, this is not... So, Dr. Brad, you know, instead of reading a script like a robot, most people, like, using the vegetable oil that way, what is the point? Are you buying... So, you're a freaking clown, dude. Are you buying seed oils and sprinkling them on your salad like this?
As explained earlier in the video, we have robust evidence from human randomized controlled trials that when
Here we go again.
from butter to unsaturated
RCTs.
we have reduced
Thank you. That's the point. Just eat whole foods. Stop eating processed foods. It's not that we don't need this 30-minute long video. And yeah, here I'll take a doctor, Dr. Norton or whoever, and raise you another doctor, Paul Mason. Another 30-minute long video describing how seed oils are toxic. Looking at lipid levels first, right? Because seed oils, after all, are mostly fat, right? What does the study say? This is what he opens with. 136,000, almost 137,000 people. What are the results? So the total, out of 137,000 people, the total admitted for coronary artery disease had ideal cholesterol levels of 1.4%. And yep, here is the major reason why we have severe issues. I mean, even if you've got RCDs, is the data even accurate or complete or unbiased in any way?